The House of Versace released their Middle East exclusive here in the States. The fragrance we're going to be talking about today on a glorified first impression is Eros Najim. What you all can expect, we're going to be touching on some notes and accords, also a little wearability, and then we're going to be touching on the bottle and the box, so the presentation, and then a few other things to boot. Stay tuned. I want to be fully transparent before we hop in to this glorified first impression. And the reason why it's glorified was because this is a retake and I've already smelled the fragrance. I got it on my hand, got it up in the air, so I got to add that caveat. And then also too, I have looked up the notes as well. So with that being said, let's hop into that presentation. So here's the box. See, still got the wrapper over here, but here's the box. Braun box, Versace up top, you got the face, and this is parfum. This is a parfum concentration, and then you got Eros Najim, the name, and then on the back you got the ingredients, and then at the bottom you got the barcode and the batch code. So there is. And as of now, I think this one comes in at 3.4 fluid ounces. I think that's the only bottle you can get of this already. Bringing back the bottle toss, let's see if I can catch it. Had to do two hands, but we got it. I usually try to do one. So let's put the box over there. There's the bottle. Similar to all the rest of the bottles in the Eros line, this one's just like an orange color. And then you got the face, you got the name, and then you got the sticker at the bottom. And then the cap clicks into place, and you got the face on there. So let's go ahead and see if this Eros is tied back to the original DNA, because I will say flame and energy, not really similar, especially energy. Energy is a very different fragrance than those, the eau de toilette, the eau de parfum, and the parfum. So I'm interested to see if Eros Najim brings back some of that original Eros flair. Let's go ahead and give it a spray on the hand and in there. Let's see how that atomizer does. Good. There it is. And at this point, I got this all over my hand, but so, with Eros Najim, what you're going to get in that opening, you're going to get a big blast of that mandarin orange. And with that mandarin orange, it comes off like a juice to me a little bit, like an orange juice. That's what it kind of reminds me of. You only get the mandarin orange, and it's kind of sparkling as well. I usually only get that sparkling sense of the mandarin orange in the first 5 to 10 minutes. And then after that, it starts to turn in more into reminded me of a straight orange juice. So I guess basically the best way I can say it, the citrus, the way it's used, sparkling at first, and then just back to being a deflated OJ. Not a sparkling OJ, but just a regular OJ. That's how it kind of develops with the citrus and the scent. But you do have this caramel that comes out. This is very nice. It's very present, really big punch of that caramel sweetness in it. It does have a little tinge of oud in it. This is going to be your designer oud, so it's not going to be something that's going to be fecal, barnyard-esque. It is nice and wearable, at least how the designers do oud. That's how this one's reminding me of a little bit. But when you put your hand closer to the scent, you're going to get a lot of warm spice. You're going to get some smoke too, and I do get the smoke in the air. This does have some incense in it. Also too, some other notes that my nose can detect, at least off these sprays. I get like a patchouli feel, and the patchouli is more of like a chocolatey patchouli. It's not something overbearing like the way they used the patchouli in the Amen line from Mugler. Don't get me wrong, really like those fragrances, but this is a different style, the way they use it and the way it comes across. Usually with those scents, that patchouli is one of the vocal points in the way it's used in that line. This one is chocolatey, but it's not the vocal point. Like there's other things overpowering that, even though this patchouli is in the base. But you do pick up a chocolatey patchouli. I do pick up a smoky nuance, a little balsamic as well with the scent, as this is all coming around, I guess, full circle. This scent does have a definite Middle Eastern tinge, so I could see why this one at first was limited to just the Middle East, but you have to be careful because right now the only place I've seen it being sold is on Versace's website or on the secondary market. And I will say on the secondary market, you have to be careful because there is a lot of fakes of Najim here. I got mine off Versace. So you got to be aware of that. Make sure you know who you're buying from so you do not get scammed. But going back to the scent, this is going to be for the people that like that Eros DNA. I will say out of all the Eroses, this reminds me of the parfum version, the blue and greenish bottle. The parfum, this has some tie back to that, but this reminds me of Versace's answer to kind of the last few years, those toffee type of gourmand sweet fragrances. That this fragrance seems like it's going in that path, that route, and it's Versace's answer. For prime example, Stronger With You, The Most Wanted from Azzaro. It kind of gives me those similar vibes, like it would be used in the same way. At first, when you spray this fragrance on, you do get that citrus pop, but as this dries down, it kind of goes more into those, more in line with those fragrances. I will say this isn't a full-bore gourmand because of that Middle Eastern tinge it's got with the smoke, with the balsamic feel, and with the warm spice. So be aware of that. I will say, compared to some other Middle Eastern fragrances in the designer realm, like Middle Eastern exclusives, it's not like something like Dolce & Gabbana, the one, they had some Middle Eastern ones. For prime example, I think it's like Royal, and then there was one in a red bottle. Those two fragrances, I feel, tend to be more full-bore Middle Eastern, like straight Middle Eastern. I can understand why it's a Middle Eastern market compared to this one. This one's a little bit more wearable, a little bit more mature, and that's why it's going along the framework of the parfum, the Eros parfum with the blue bottle. But if you're somebody that doesn't like your sweet gourmand type of scents, veer from this. If you're somebody that doesn't like smoke in your scents, a very smoke heaviness with a heavy warm spice vibe, move on from this. And if you don't like your main vocal point of your woods being your oud, this isn't going to be for you. But the oud, again, is not something that is overbearing in the scent. I would say out of everything right now, a little citrus on the outskirts, caramel, smoke, balsamic, and warm spice. And then a little oud kind of sprinkling in there. It kind of goes along with that citrus. But this is going to be for somebody that wants to have a little twist on that original Eros DNA in regards to the parfum. It doesn't smell really like the EDT to me at all, or the EDP, more in line with that parfum. And you want kind of 50-50 blend of warm spice, smoke, and kind of a gourmand, caramel, sweet type of tone. And you want those all three facets kind of in the forefront. This is what this scent's going to be about, and that's who's it going to be targeting. This isn't going to be for somebody that likes their bubblegummy sweet type of scents, in my opinion. I mean, this is sweet, but it is a different type of sweet. This is a gourmand sweet, in my opinion. This isn't for somebody that's going to like their shower gel, easy to wear type of scents. You got to make sure that you are familiar with Middle Eastern style fragrances, Middle Eastern flair type of fragrances, because they go in very different directions, and sometimes they can be hard to wear because of the way the oud comes across, because of the way the spices come across. But this has enough of that citrus and the way that sweetness is used in this scent. It does kind of push those back a little bit to give you a nice blend overall with the scent. It's not something that's going to reinvent the wheel. I have smelled fragrances similar to this. Like prime example, I mentioned a Stronger With You. I mentioned the Most Wanted. And also, too, I know this is going to kind of sound weird, but even though some of those Stronger With You Middle Eastern exclusives, this maybe just because this has got oud in it, it doesn't smell exactly the same. It kind of gives me the same vibe, like you would wear some of those Middle Eastern exclusives from Stronger With You the same time you would wear Eros Najim. Now, overall, this is a good scent. This is a good scent. I feel like this can be mass appealing for the right person. This can be something that can change the game from you a little bit if you're just used to wearing those easy, fresh, shower jelly, blue, straightforward type of scents. This could be a good way for you to try out something new and see what happens. I don't know if you can get a sample anywhere of this, so be aware of that before you buy a full bottle. Always just want to look out for you. Do whatever you want with your money. But this one here is for the people that want to, it's a beginner Middle Eastern style scent. That's the best way I can describe it. Beginner Middle Eastern style scent with some designer wearability. And then also, too, for the people that want a gourmand fragrance with some Middle Eastern flair, this is going to be right up your alley. And I feel like this is going to be best suited. I can't really totally comment on it based off first impression. This is going to be for somebody in that fall and winter time. Maybe warm summer nights as well. I want to give this a go in the summer night and see how this one develops, see how well it does. It seems like on performance and projection, it's going to do really well. I have probably sprayed this about 7 or 8 times. I am getting nose fatigue already. That's a little bit too much for me, but I had to redo the video for you all. So just wanted to get that out of the way on performance and longevity and stuff. It seems like it's going to be good, but I can't fully give you a full consensus on that because it's a full impression. It's not fair to wear this scent for 30 minutes and be like, oh yeah, no, I don't do that. So, but that is my review over Eros Najim. It is nice. It is good. Can't wait to that fall time because it seems like this fragrance would shine around that time of year here in the U.S. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite Eros fragrance is and why. Stick around to the end of the video as well because there will be a video that the algorithm thinks you need to watch. So stick around for that. And then make sure that you all stay positive, be true, stay healthy, take care.